estate in Oahu with Hawaii's only true real.
Home of the Guaranteed Sold program, or we'll buy it. If you have any questions, just give us a call at 799-9596 or check us out online at teamlally.com. And now it's that time in the show for Attilio's Random Thoughts. Are you there, Attilio? I don't hear him. We don't have Attilio's Random Thoughts. I can see Attilio. It was working just a moment ago, and now it's not. And no audio for Attilio. Yes. So those of you that are tuning in to our live stream, we are having some technical difficulties, and Attilio is working on it with his Comrex. So we are hiring agents. We hired 4, and we still have 6 more spaces left. So you can go to jointeamlally.com and submit your application. We've got another group that could be starting in March. And we are excited for our 4 new team members that just started this month. Yep, 6 more agents. I can't hear you, Attilio. We're going to just have to edit the show.
Can you?
Oh, now I can hear you. You sound like a robot.
We're good to go.
There you go.
I sound like a robot?
No, you're good. You're good now.
Okay. Hey, so this is that part of the show where we talk about Attilio's Random Thoughts, and here we go. So today what I want to talk to you about is, I've talked about it before in the past, but Adrian, you hear it say at the end of my affirmation, and that's kind of what I'm going to talk about. But will you remember what the last thing I say in my affirmation?
I don't remember.
Well, my number one responsibility is, and I don't expect you to remember because it's not your affirmation, it's mine. It's my number one responsibility is to remind. So here's what I want to remind our listeners of. Going into the new year, if you have so many goals or objectives, a lot of times we need to quiet the mind. Adrian, can the mind be something that's helpful or harmful?
It could be both.
That's the correct answer. And a lot of times, majority of people's inner talk or their inner language is what? Negative or positive?
Well, mostly people will have negative thoughts unless they have intentionally trained their mind to go in the positive.
Yeah. And I will tell you that most people have negative thoughts because your programming has started when you were a younger child. They say by the time you reach the age of 5, you've heard the word no like 500,000 times from your parents. Why? What are they telling you no to? No, don't do that. No, stop that. No, 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 all the way through. So you got that kind of programming going on. And then when you're an adult, what are you watching at 5 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock? And then on some channels, 24 hours a day, what do you watch? What are people watching?
The news.
The news, and it's all positive and uplifting and helps you with that positive mind chatter. Yes, the news?
No, it's usually negative. They don't have like happy news.
There's no such thing as happy news. If it bleeds, it leads is what the challenge is. So what what I've told people, or what we do for when you're just to start off to do something. If you're in sales, it's about prospecting. If you're not prospecting, you're not in sales. If people come to you to do business, then you're in retail. That's not sales. You're just sitting around like a goldfish waiting for the business. But every business needs to pick up the phone and go get business, or ask for referrals, or ask for reviews. And Adrian, how well are you going to do that if you just got into a knockdown, drag out fight with your kids right before you got to go do this? How well are you going to do it? What's going to be your percentage of, are you going to be successful at it?
Well, depends on your mindset, and if you can, like, snap out of it and still, do what you need to do regardless of what's just happened.
Yeah, but are you just going to go from I just found out my mom died to knocking it out of the park on the phone in an instant?
No.
If you're a psychopath, you will. And you have no emotional connection to her or anybody else, and you're probably not going to do good on the phone anyway, unless you're about luring people into your car and murdering them. Oh, wait, that's Ted Bundy. But what I'm talking about is a very simple technique. Write down an affirmation, 3 to 4 sentences, 5 at the most, positive and present tense, talking about what you have, not what you want, but what you have, because the mind can't determine the difference between what you have and what you want. And then, Adrian, what do I mean by memorize and internalize? So
you want to know it and feel it and own it, and just, be able to recite it no matter what, no matter where you're at, how tired you are. Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So I'll share with you guys my affirmation. I haven't said it in like 6 months, but I know it because I've said it so many times over and over and over. And, practicing these things, it's a script. It's a script for the mind chatter. It's a way to start off with a positive affirmation. Adrian, what do we as far as a script is concerned, why do we want to memorize? Why do we want to learn scripts as far as for be more successful in our lives?
So we can be organized in our approach and our conversations. Now,
internal and external.
And speaking of someone who's organized, we have Duke Kim Han of Hawaii Pacific Property Management on the line with his property management tip of the week.
He better be. He's way organized. Way organized.
About my script.
Yes. Tell us your script.
Hawaii Pacific is the only property management company that offers you 3 guarantees. Easy, but you try call around and ask if any of their work for a property management company is guaranteed. So let me give you my 3. The easiest one, someone will call you back in 1 hour or less, or we'll just answer our phone. That's an easy one. Okay? The next one is a little harder. I will give you a rent guarantee up front when I look at your property. I will tell you that we will rent your place no lower than this amount. And if we have to go lower than that, I'll pay you the difference. How's that?
Wow.
That has never happened in 12 years. I've never had to pay somebody to not rent their property. And we never start at the lowest ask anyway. Mm-hmm. So that guarantee is good. And the last one's the toughest. It's an eviction guarantee that states that if we put a tenant in after background checking them, checking their income, checking their job, checking how secure they are, that if we have to evict them, that I will pay the eviction costs. And today, in today's market, that'll take you probably between $3,000 and $7,000.
Now, Duke,
and we've had to pay that out before.
Now, over the last 12 years, how many times? I know it's happened
2.
Because 2. Wow. And how many properties are you guys having under management?
Over 1,000.
So that's pretty good odds. 2 over the last 12 years and over 1,000 properties. So
but you guys, that's in writing up front. Yeah. I give you that 3 guarantees signed by our company. Anytime we make a property management agreement with an owner, the 3 guarantees are in there, in writing.
Now,
so if that's not enough to convince you to just give us a call and find out what we can rent your property for. Sometimes properties need repairs. Mm-hmm. They don't fit in our agenda, or you have some circumstances in there that we just can't deal with, like you have shared properties with one electrical meter, or somebody's not getting the right amount of water. I can't fix that. And so when we have those problems, I usually don't manage those properties.
So you tell them no up front because you don't want to disappoint them later. Really?
Yeah, I just tell them, I said, this doesn't fit in what we do. And sometimes when you have those problems, I can't make those guarantees.
Yes, I can see how that could be problematic. Now, if someone were to have one of these kinds of properties, how do you recommend that they navigate through this? Do you give them any kind of pointers or tips to at least still put a tenant in?
We usually tell them what's going to be the best for rental, but a lot of people aren't in a position to make changes to their electrical system, or the house has only one water meter and it has 7 bedrooms rentals. It's really hard to manage that. I mean, we've had nightmare stories of people coming in and knowing the water's included, and then they'll do loads of laundry for their workplace and stuff like that, or they'll invite their girlfriend or kids to stay with them, and they'll take 7 showers a day. So there's so many things that can go wrong with these multiple unit rentals. But anyway, that's what the property management company needs to go out and look at. We need to decipher if we can manage those properties well. So give us a call.
Now, Duke, you made an important statement to go out and look at. There's something else that you guys do that's pretty unique as far as the, managing of the evidence and of, the properties. It's these walkthroughs.
Yep. We guarantee that if you don't have any pets as a tenant, that we'll walk through your property every 6 months. If you have pets, we'll come through every 4 months and do a 5-minute walkthrough to make sure you're taking care of the property the way we deem it. And, little things like picking up after your pet when they poop, stuff like that in the yard, or the dog is chewing on a corner, we'll make the tenant fix it right away.
And do you ever have any pushback from tenants when you spot these issues?
Of course. But, our pushback to them is that you can either do it or we'll give you, your 45-day notice to leave.
So you guys
because it's in your pet addendum.
So you guys don't mess around.
No, I mean, our job is to protect the property against damage and to collect the rent. Those are the real reasons why you would hire a property manager.
You guys, when you do the drive-bys, are you looking for above ground pools?
Yeah, we rarely do drive-bys, but when we do our walkthroughs, if anything's not on the agreement and the people do it, I had a guy hanging laundry outside because he didn't want to use his electricity in his washer dryer, and the other people, the neighbors, were complaining. Mm-hmm. So we went by and we told him, you cannot hang your laundry on the fence line. And he had 20 pieces of laundry out there, and so he said that wasn't on any of the agreements. And I said, you're right, it's not on any of the agreements, but your neighbors are complaining. So if you continue this behavior, we'll just terminate your agreement. And he started to use the washer dryer against his will, but I've got 1,000 stories about tenants trying to do this or that to make themselves comfortable.
Well, it sounds like you've heard a lot of stories, and you have your company and your team has the resources and the knowledge to respond appropriately.
Yeah, absolutely. So give us a call, give us a try, and the worst case scenario is we'll agree to disagree.
Love that. Well, thank you, Duke.
Thanks, Duke.
Sure. Take care.
All right. So,
well, hey, the other thing Duke is fighting against is crunchy clothes. Because when you hang dry your clothes, they're crunchy. Put them in the dryer; they'll be softer anyway. So, and people are going to want to hug you. So it's a win-win all the way around.
So, yep. So give Duke and his team a call. They can be reached at 445-9223, or check them out on our website. We have them there under Experts We Trust.
Any other experts coming up?
No more experts as of yet. So we can go back to, we were talking about the scripts and why it's important to use scripts.
Yeah, a lot of times people will hear, hey, I don't like doing scripts. And my response to that is, who is the most expensive paid actor in the world right now, Adrian? Do you know?
He's like The Rock.
Yeah, The Rock Johnson. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how many millions of dollars he gets paid to learn a script, but this script's probably the size of a skinny phone book. For you young kids, that's where names and phone numbers used to be back in the day before iPhones. And anyway, and the internet. And do you think, Adrian, do you think The Rock, he probably, I don't know, maybe he gets $100 million to do a movie. Do you think he shows up on set and is yelling out, lines, give me my lines? Because
no.
there is a script director behind the camera next to the whole crew there supporting him. And if he does forget a line, he can yell out line. But do you think he's saying that day one and like every 2 seconds?
No, absolutely not.
He would not be the highest paid actor if that was the case. I mean, this is not like community theater. My apologies to y'all community theater people, because I know you memorize your script, but you ain't getting $80 million to do that show either. So nobody's going to pay you to do a script. But what do we learn about scripts? If you're not using one, you're using one. And it's the script or the dialogue or the language that you've used to get you to where you're in your life right now. So if you want to change your life, you got to change your language. You write that down.
So speaking of someone who has some life-changing information for us, yes, that would be Bradley Moriyama of Allstate Insurance with his insurance tip of the week.
What you got for us, Bradley?
All right. When you purchase homes that are on the coastline or beachfront, it's very difficult to find affordable insurance. So recently, Allstate has relaxed some of the guidelines, and we're going to start writing homes that are beachfront that are 20 years and younger. And they're saying they're going to start accepting this risk because the building codes will justify that. This is a good risk to write. So if you are living on a coastline or a beachfront and you're paying a lot in premiums, give us a call, because we're now writing beachfront homes.
So Bradley, if the home was like maybe older and then it was rebuilt in the last 20 years, how do you guys look at that? Like if let's say 80% of the house was completely redone and then maybe like that front part, how does that work?
Yeah, so that's a good question. What we've been doing on these types of homes, so it'll show effective year built when the homes are remodeled. So that's when we'll call underwriting and say, hey, this is not a brand new built home within 20 years, but it has been completely remodeled to code. Would you consider writing this risk? So this one will take a little bit more time to go through underwriting, but we have gotten these approved.
That's good to know. And I'm happy to hear that Allstate is opening up their insurance for these homes. Bradley, what are your thoughts about those homes that are falling into the ocean over on the North Shore?
Oh, that's a controversial question, but I do feel bad for the homeowners. That there's really no type of insurance that would protect them in these cases, and they're coming out of pocket. So. But I really feel bad for them, and I wish that there was something we could offer.
Yeah, I did see on the headlines on the front
side of. Yeah.
Well, I was saying, I heard on the headline on the newspapers, the city is thinking about buying the homes from these people. We'll see if that goes through.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Another controversial thing that's been coming up is a lot of the condos, like we spoke prior. They're still increasing their deductibles, and it's putting insurance in binds. But the Nauru Tower in Kaka'ako is one of the newest ones that a lot of brokers are calling me asking if we will still write policies in Nauru Tower. So the answer is yes. So if you do own a unit there and you're being non-renewed by one of the carriers, we are writing insurance on Nauru Tower.
So could you briefly explain why the carriers are not renewing in that building?
Yeah, so master AOL policies are tightening up their underwriting a little bit. And so when there are frequent claims, a way to offset the increase in premium, they're increasing the master AOL deductible. So they're making the end user or the homeowner increase their building coverage or dwelling coverage under policy up to the deductible minimums. So, for an example, Nauru Tower has increased it to $500,000.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
in this scenario, the insurer needs to increase their building property to $500,000, and most carriers only go up to $250,000. So in this scenario, most carriers aren't writing these policies. So Allstate does write dwelling or building coverage up to $750,000 currently. So we are the one carrier that is still writing in the buildings that have higher deductibles.
Well, that's awesome news that Allstate is again changing their policies to serve the community. Right. So first with the oceanfront, and now with the condo. So
Marco Polo, a lot of carriers don't like to write in Marco Polo either because of that big fire.
Mm-hmm.
But little do a lot of carriers realize that Marco Polo now has sprinkler systems. So Allstate is also one of the few carriers that do write in the Marco Polo building. So, when in doubt, give us a call, and we can always do a complimentary quote on your property or your policies in general.
Okay. Well, thank you, Bradley, as always, with this with these updates on Allstate's policies. You're awesome.
All right.
Awesome.
Thanks, Bradley.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Adrian, what Bradley is telling the people at Nauru Tower when they call them and they say, "Hey, can you insure us?" You know what he's telling them?
What?
Shoots. You can do the insurance.
Well, speaking of someone else who's awesome and coming up with all sorts of creative solutions, we have the mortgage genius, Jody of Pacific Rim Mortgage, with her tip of the week. Jody, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. And what I have for you this week is going to blow your mind.
That was my impersonation of Jody. That does not sound anything like Jody.
No, it doesn't sound like her at all.
Well, what I like about what Jody is that she comes in with some common sense tips that are not so common because people don't realize that these are things to think about. But if you're looking to buy a home, Adrian, Jody would give you this advice, and we would give you this advice. What's the number for every first step in your home buying process?
To talk to Jody and to get pre-approved.
To talk to Jody.
Yeah, to see what kind of range. I mean, just because you're qualified for a certain amount, that doesn't mean that's like what you're comfortable paying. But it's nice to know like what you could get qualified for, and then you figure out, all right, this is what I'm comfortable with, so I'm going to look at homes in this price range.
And speaking of homes in certain price ranges, any price range,
Mm-hmm.
Adrian, we're having a listing that's going to be coming soon. In the price point, it's going to be a very high price point. Can you guess what that price point would be, Adrian?
I could guess. And then
it starts with a 2 and it has a whole pile of zeros after it. What is it?
It's in the $20 million.
$20 million range.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that homeowner would want us having people traipsing through his property who are not qualified at that price point or above?
Absolutely not. But you're gonna have to verify.
No.
We'll have to verify.
You would be livid and want to chew us a new one. And you know what? If you got a $400,000 townhome, we're going to treat it just like our $20 million listing. We're not going to let people go in there. Now, again, open house, can we
We're not doing open house on this one. It's private invite only.
Well, I'm talking for the $400,000 condo. We're going to do an open house, and we can't stop, tell people, hey, I need to see a credit score.
We do need to have a sign-in, though. They've got to sign in.
You got to sign in.
Yes.
Why is it a courtesy to sign in and not some scary conspiracy theory?
Because it's the owner's home, and they're letting strangers walk through their home. They deserve to know who's walking through their home, and it's a liability issue, right? For us.
You know where this is a benefit? If you ever were accused of murder, you have an alibi.
That's right.
You have proof that you were at an open house. It could be helpful.
Well, I don't know what happened to Jody, but we have Kyle on the line to give us a quick tip before we take a break. So Kyle Shimoda with Impact Wealth Solutions with his tip of the week. Kyle, are you there?
Hello. I'm here.
What do you have for us this week?
Well, the usual, the tip of the week on the Delaware Statutory Trust, which can be utilized in a 1031 exchange. I think right now a lot of buyers and sellers are feeling some of the pressure with the shift in the real estate market with home values and interest rates. And, for some people, selling now could be beneficial if finding a replacement property that provides higher income, maybe more depreciation, could actually benefit them from a tax and income perspective.
Yeah.
And Attilio and I are getting ready to do another DST with you.
The second one.
So we're...
Tell them about the first one, Adrian.
You know what? I was just thinking about my first one because I got an email today letting me know that
everybody always remembers their first DST.
Well, no, it's just like, oh, we've deposited more money into your account today. Here's your statement. And I just, get very happy when I get those emails because I do absolutely nothing. It just shows up in my account.
Well, you stretch a little bit because you got to walk to the post office to get your money, the mailbox, and then walk back home. So I know you warm up for that.
No, it's automatically.
It just shows up in your account.
It does. And then they send me an email with the whole statement, and it's lovely. I just love it. It's so easy.
Yeah, on your statement, you probably saw some nice appreciation in 2022.
Mm-hmm. And then also they raised what they were, like the distributions. And I was not expecting that. I was very happy.
Adrian, you've had rentals, and now you have the DST. What were like the top 3 things that you don't miss about your rentals that you don't have as an issue with your DST?
Well, I know, so my rental in Florida, I hated every year when they got that property tax bill. That was so annoying. And then whenever there was anything that was broken or needing to be upgraded, I was very annoyed with having to deal with that as well. That was just, I didn't want to make these decisions. And then when the tenants were getting turned over and I had vacancies, that was also quite off-putting.
Yeah.
But I had negative cash flow. So all of those things, they don't happen with the DST. It's a lovely product. And I suggest that our listeners just give us a call. We have a website, teamlally.com/DST, and it tells you all about it.
And Kyle, tell them about the benefit of passing on this type of wealth to their heirs.
Oh, well, real estate in general is one of the best ways to build, accumulate, and transfer wealth because you get all the benefits that we all know of when you own investment property, like depreciation and things like that. And then when we pass on, real estate gets a step up in cost basis, meaning that if you were to sell while you're alive, you pay taxes on the difference between what you paid for it, less depreciation, and what you sell it for, that's the gain. So it's a ton of taxes. Yet, if you pass away, leave property or real estate to your children, grandchildren, or even a nonprofit organization, there's a step up in basis. And if they were to sell right away, they pay almost zero tax. So a DST is a way where you could do an exchange, continue to own real estate, pass that on to your children. They get a step up, avoid all the taxes. Yet also the benefit is you don't have kids fighting over one physical property or 5, whatever it is. They get equal shares split between them. They get to decide what they want to do with their shares.
Yeah.
And you guys call that what? Swap until you drop, right?
Yep. Swap until you drop.
The other thing too, Kyle, I'll share this with you. We've had so many parents come in. They have multiple properties. Some of them one for each child. Adrian, have we ever had any of these kids say, yeah, when my parents die, I want to move into those houses?
No, usually not.
Never.
That's not the case.
Never. So I tell the parents when you're trying to pass on wealth, don't give them real estate. And that's not really your objective. Your objective is to give them equity and income.
Mm-hmm.
And a better way to do that is with the DST.
I would just say, ask them to ask their kids what their kids want to do. Recently, I was talking to a client, and their adult kids were sitting right next to them. And I asked, we're talking about their property, and I asked the kids, hey, what are you going to do with mom and dad's properties when they're gone? Like, do you want to manage it? Like, no, we definitely don't want to manage property. And the parents were surprised. They were really surprised.
Well, they're lucky that they had you to help facilitate that conversation.
Yep. I only want two things to happen when I die. When they're looking at the open casket, I want to say, hey, I think he moved. And then the second thing, if I don't move, I want them to say, hey, that guy owes me money.
All right, Kyle.
Your last check out.
Well, thank you, as always, for the reminder about the DSTs and all of the benefits. And I hope that our listeners will join us for the next webinar.
Yes.
So, thank you, Kyle.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. So, again, you can go to teamlally.com/DST and sign up for the next webinar. You can find out all about the DST. Now, we are going to take a quick break and stay with us. When we come back, we'll be talking with Keli'i Lum. He's actually a Team Lally member and an entrepreneur. We're going to talk about the opportunity, of sushi, a sushi business.
Yeah. Stay with us.
Christina Holyfield for the Royal Ride. Good morning. And I have a very important question for you. Are you ready for a retirement? Well, Robert and Maureen were ready for the big move, but they had to sell their home in Kapolei first. They were also worried about rising interest rates and inflation. I mean, who isn't? I recommend they call my friends Adrian Lally and Attilio Leonardi of Team Lally Real Estate Group of Keller Williams, Honolulu. After only 20 days on the market, Team Lally was able to sell their home and allow Robert and Maureen to stay in the home for a few days after closing for free. Talk about a no-stress sale and a great start to a retirement life. If you're in the market to sell your home and want the right real estate team in your corner, you can trust Adrian and Attilio of Team Lally. Call 808-799-9596. Call 808-799-9596 or visit teamlally.com. Do it. You deserve the best retirement possible.
Hello, Hawaii. It's Colin Coward. Things may have changed in the sports world, but the games must go on. Look, I invest in real estate all over America, and right now, with the ultra-low interest rates everywhere, if you're serious about selling your home, you need to talk to my friends Adrian Lally and Attilio Leonardi of Team Lally, real estate group of Keller Williams, Honolulu. Team Lally's incredible marketing with 3D tours and its huge database of buyers has continued to sell homes quickly with multiple offers over the asking price. Adrian and Attilio continue to spend tens of thousands per month on marketing to attract hundreds of buyers every month using a unique app that communicates daily with over 3 million luxury home buyers around the United States. Adrian and Attilio guarantee to sell your home at a price and deadline you agree to, or they'll buy it themselves. Give Adrian and Attilio a call at 799-9596 or online at teamlally.com. That's teamlally.com and start packing.
Hi, I'm Barbara Corcoran. To sell your home on time for the most money, you need a sharp agent with a marketing strategy that creates the most demand. Bottom line, you need a partner willing to put their own money on the line for you. In Hawaii, I would hire Adrian Lally and Attilio Leonardi. Their marketing strategy is so effective that if your home doesn't sell on terms you agree to, Team Lally will buy it. Partner with the team I trust. Go online or call and get your home sold.
Thanks for listening to the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the Guaranteed Sold program, or we'll buy it. I'm Adrian.
I'm Attilio.
And if you have any questions, just give us a call at 799-9596 or check us out online at teamlally.com. So we have our guest who we had the teaser for, Mr. Keli'i Lum. He's
Here, I'll start it off.
okay. You go for it. Go.
Born in Hawaii and raised in the town of Mililani, our guest today grew up to be very familiar with the island of Oahu. Studied at the Leeward Community College, where he was president of LCC's Japan Circle and the vice president of Mililani Toastmasters Public Relations.
So after graduating from LCC, he pursued his bachelor's degree at the University of Hawaii's Scheidler College of Business, where he interned as a Hawaiian Airlines business analyst and followed his dream to study in Japan. He returned to Hawaii and pursued a career in real estate and is now an international agent for Team Lally. Please welcome our guest, Keli'i Lum.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
One thing that we forgot I guess we're going to be talking about it, but he's also this entrepreneur and a business owner. Tell us the name of your business, Keli'i.
The franchise is known as Advanced Fresh Concepts. They're a franchise organization. They do sushi bentos in your local grocery stores. Ours particularly Safeway.
Yeah. Awesome.
So, Keli'i, in your intro, I didn't see anything about food or sushi or chefing. Tell us, how did you get into this sushi business?
In fact, through real estate, I've been, as you guys already know, I've been with you guys for 8+ years now. And one of the clients that I got close with over the years, helped them purchase a home here and there, they actually owned the business. And through them, they introduced me to the franchise, and then eventually down the line, I ended up acquiring a few.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so through there, that's how I learned through how to make sushi. And since it's a franchise, they have their own systems, how to run a business, how to stay in contact with your vendors, where to acquire certain ingredients from different places, and so forth. It's been a very interesting and lively process along the way.
So you started this business in 2020 and no experience in sushi. And here we are, 2023. We're having you on the show to spread the word about why. What's going on with this business, Keli'i?
So I am actually planning to sell the business, and that's not just one franchise location, all 4 franchise locations that our company owns. And it's a fantastic business, brings in a lot of not only experience if you're looking to be an entrepreneur yourself, start off as an entrepreneur. It also brings in a stable income and has potential for a lot more growth. And the reason behind that would be that although I love the food industry, my passion is definitely real estate, and I'm looking to jump back into the real estate game with you guys.
We're looking forward to having you back as well. Attilio, did you have a question for Keli'i on his sushi business?
Keli'i, you know that pickle plum, the red one that goes in the middle of the sushi, ume.
Ume. Our sushi does not have ume.
I know it doesn't have ume, but I'm going segue because too salty anyway. You're going to give your customers too much high blood pressure. So that's a positive that you don't have it. It's way salty. Us Hawaiians, we get too much high blood pressure anyway. We don't need more salt in our diet. But do you know why? Do you know why sharks love to eat Japanese tourists?
Why? Why do they love to eat Japanese tourists?
Because they have ume in the middle. That was just a setup for my joke. But back to the sushi. It's a fun business. You guys still have that Friday special?
$5 Fridays.
So, yeah, being that we are in Safeway, I mean, other franchises that are not in Safeway, they don't do that $5 Friday. But since we're in Safeway, for those who know, every Friday they have like a $5 Friday special. 13 products go on a $5 sale. For us, we have $5 sale every Friday, almost every Friday. There's only 2 Fridays in the year that we don't do, but that day is the most busiest, especially since everybody's looking to get a deal for some delicious sushi.
It's grab and go.
Grab and go.
Yeah.
So Keli'i, let's talk about the numbers here and this opportunity. Now, when you purchased this business, I know that it was at one point, and then you've taken it to another point. So let's talk about that, and then where do you think this business could go with the right new owner?
Yeah, well, when I first started the business, the previous owner, they were pretty much they were looking to retire, and so they weren't as active in the business as we are today. Since then, we've doubled their revenue, more than doubled their revenue. And just this last year, we've made more than 440 just gross revenue. 440,000 just
$440,000 in gross revenue. So the previous owner was doing about 200.
A little less. A little less than that.
So you more than doubled it.
Yes, definitely. And the thing about it is that there's a lot more potential for it to. If there's so many different factors that if you were to add more hands on deck, be there for more hours, do more deliveries, that gross revenue can more than double. But again, that's when you have more hands and more people on deck.
And how much are you selling this business for? And where could our listeners go to find out more information?
Oh, that is a fantastic question. Now, listeners will be very surprised as to the price I'm looking to sell this, and it's actually $140,000, and that is fantastic because you for sure will be able to make all that back in a year. And if you're definitely as passionate as a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners are these days, then you could definitely blow this out of the water. Now, where to find me or find out about this business, or where you can contact me. First is where you can find the business is on biz.com. You just have there searching Hawaii, and as you scroll down, it's probably the 5th business that's on that listings, and you'll see all the information there. Whereas you can contact me at my email, or our company email, which is kohayume.llc@gmail.com. That's AOHAYUME.LLC@gmail.com. Or you can call me at my number, 808-292-6533. And
so again,
you get all the
website
information you're looking for.
If they go to bizbizcell.com and they just search for like Hawaii businesses, it'll pop right up.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Just call it.
In real estate, we have an MLS that's similar to the MLS, but all of those in Hawaii. Yeah.
So Keli'i, do you have to be like a Hawaii resident or a U.S. citizen? Like, who's eligible to buy and run this business?
Everybody and any is eligible. You could be a Hawaii resident. You could be a resident in New York or America. You could be someone from another nation. In fact, you could be from out of this galaxy, another universe. and you will be able to run this business. The only thing you'll need is the drive to learn. That's the most important thing, I believe, in business overall.
So, tell us a little bit about what does it look like starting out? If you have no experience in the food industry, what do they do to set you up for success?
Well, again, I mentioned this is we're part of a franchise, so similar to how McDonald's, they have different franchisees run different shops. Since we're in a franchise, they provide systems for you that even if you don't know how to run a business or you've never had any experience in the food industry, they have systems for you to learn and how to properly make sushi, as well as uphold high standards for health when you're out doing this business. So it's pretty much getting to you on how to run the business successfully. It's all about maintaining that and continuing to do it.
Yeah. Something interesting, Keli'i, I want to share with you and our listeners. 90% of mom and pop businesses that just started from ground up this is from the SBA, Small Business Association. Statistically, 90% of small businesses after 5 years are gone. 90% of franchise businesses after 5 years are still around. In fact, how long has this franchise been around here in Hawaii?
This one has been around, in America, it's been around for, I believe, 36 years. In Hawaii, as long as our Safeway has been around, so maybe around the same amount of time, 30 years.
Yeah, long time.
30 plus years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and they have...
it just goes to show, yeah.
Well, it's like the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl team. Do you think either one of those coaches is showing up to the Super Bowl with no playbook and they're just winging it, or do they have a playbook? They got a playbook.
Oh,
that's
always
what the franchise is.
For sure.
Yeah. AFC is giving you the playbook. Keli'i, will you stay on as a consultant to help them out, or are you just gonna let them hang? You gonna let them hot out to dry? Just okay, where's my money? I'm done.
In Hawaii, we believe in hang loose, man. How we plan to do it is we want to make sure that the new owner is familiar and that they can run the business successfully as well. So, in addition to the franchise training them, we plan to train them in all the systems as well as all the different locations and the favorite sushis in those areas, so that they can run with it and make it blossom even more as a business owner.
Yeah. You know what I think is a perfect customer for this business?
Who?
When parents, when they get the 4 adult kids who move out, and the parents get $140,000, and they say, "Hey, all 4 of you, get your Koli up early in the morning. You guys will be making sushi.
There you go.
Don't come home until the sushi is done."
So, Keli'i, you mentioned that you have multiple locations. Let's, put that out there. Where are you a franchise owner of these locations?
So the very first one is Kapolei Safeway, and our franchise is we're a vendor that makes sushi bentos within the Safeway grocery stores. So one thing that I like to focus on is we're set on production, not on the sales. Safeway does all the sales. So in essence, you're just making the sushi and putting it on the shelves. But the very first one is our sushi bar in Safeway. And then our other 3 locations are where we deliver our sushi bentos. And those are Mililani Safeway, Waimalu Safeway, and Salt Lake Safeway. So if you've ever been to any one of those Safeways and you've eaten the sushi, then you can believe it came from the Kapolei Safeway that same morning.
And you probably rolled that sushi, or one of your employees.
Yes. One of us has definitely rolled that sushi. And it's always fresh. So we always make it that morning and put it out for those to eat.
It's fresh and made with love from Keli'i.
It was love and
So-
aloha.
And aloha.
And, I always tell people, hey, don't show up somebody's house or go and party without something to bring. Stop by Safeway Kapolei and load up with the sushi.
Mm-hmm. So,
Yeah, definitely.
Keli'i,
You won't regret it. They so delicious.
anything else on this business opportunity that we should touch on that we haven't touched on just yet, Keli'i?
I missed this just a small bit, but I'd say that if anybody is looking to learn or they have a drive to learn more about the business or a business, this would be a great opportunity, especially since there's a lot more potential for growth. So the numbers you've heard, you could definitely double them in the future.
So you don't need to have like some kind of special college degree, because I know you went to school for business. So if you don't have a degree, that's not a problem, right?
No, yes, you don't need a degree. You don't even need a GED to be able to run this business successfully. And it all circles back to the franchise system. They have everything in place. Like Attilio mentioned, you have the playbook, like a football coach. You have the playbook for you. All you have to do is learn how to use that playbook and let it roll out.
Yeah. Just roll the sushi. Don't
Follow the
reinvent
plan. Yeah.
You know what the saying is? Don't reinvent the sushi. Just roll it.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, Keli'i, for calling in and sharing about your business opportunity. And we hope that one of our listeners gives you a call. Put your number out there one more time in case they didn't write it down the first time you said it.
Okay, I wanna say it real quick. 808-292-676. No, it's 808-292-533. Again, 808-292-6533. And thank you so much, Attilio and Adrian, for
You're welcome.
bringing me in your wonderful radio show as always. You guys are fantastic and wonderful.
And we are excited to be having you back as our full-time international agent. And I know that we reference you as an international agent because how many languages do you speak, Keli'i?
I can tell you how much languages Keli'i speaks.
Oh, go for it.
Okay. He speaks 4 languages.
Yes.
He speaks Korean. He speaks Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
5 languages. He speaks English. He speaks Pidgin. And he's highly fluent in Canadian.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. The Canadian one, I'm learning from Attilio because Attilio is the
Yes. Well, thank you.
Hey.
Thanks, Keli'i, for being our guest, and we're looking forward to having you back working full time, and you can pass this opportunity over to the next person, and they can grow it.
Yeah, thank you, and you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Keli'i.
Okay, again, Keli'i Lum, 292-6533. Give him a call. He'll tell you more about the opportunity, see if you're going to be a good fit. Attilio, you want to read the review before we end the show? We've got about 3 minutes left.
Yeah, I'll read the review. It's from first letter initial A, like Alpha, and then Makela. So A. Makela.
It's Anna.
This team.
It's from
What's
Anna.
that?
It's Anna. I don't know.
Oh, it's Anna. Oh, okay. I thought she was like in the witness protection program. Won't you get a minute on that issue?
Maybe.
Come on, Anna. Spell your name out. We know who you are. We know where you live. This team rocks. Every single realtor and team member is super, with an exclamation point, I might add. All personnel are always professional, kind, and inviting. Unfortunately, it turns out that I am not ready to relocate to Hawaii, but they have been providing encouragement, guidance, and support as I figure out where I want to move next. Through Team Lally, I've received multiple referrals to excellent agents in both the Boston, Cambridge metro area and DC, Maryland, Virginia metro area. include purchase or rental throughout the whole, and they help you with your needs of purchase or rental throughout the Hawaiian Islands and the entire USA. A major bonus in working with the only Shark Tank realtors in the islands is that it is a Hawaiian-owned, women-owned, and veteran-owned brokerage or team. I'd specifically like to recommend real estate agent Zenny Kai for home buying needs in Oahu. She is intelligent, bilingual, she speaks Mandarin, and has the highest customer service skills, detail orientation, listening skills to integrate your needs and wants on your next Oahu home. I just take a deep breath. That was a long one.
All right. Well, thank you for listening, and thank you to our sponsors.
Who is our sponsor?
Jody and Derek
of Hawaii Pacific Property Management. Oh, sorry,
Jody and Derek of Pacific Rim Mortgage.
Bradley of Allstate Insurance.
Kenji of Pillar to Post Home Inspections.
John with Keli'i Post Control.
Duke with Hawaii Pacific Property Management.
Kyle with Impact Wealth Solutions.
Robinson of Fine Life Paintworks.
Chastity with American Floor and Home.
Jake of Skytech Construction Roofing and Solar.
Ryan, Zero West Hawaii. If you want to get a hold of any of our sponsors, just go to teamlally.com.
We also want to give a big thank you to Leah Rodriguez, our producer here in the studio.
Chee-hoo.
Make sure to tune in next week. We'll have an awesome guest talking about something that'll change your life
forever. This is the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the guarantee
sold program. If we can't sell your home on the agreed upon price and or time frame, we'll have it bought for cash. Thanks and aloha.
Don't want to hear about it.
The preceding program was sponsored